I'm Caroline.
Hi, I'm Chris.
What have you been up to since the last video was finished?
We handle a large number of orders for different types of cylinders which are delivered to more than 30 countries around the world. So every day is a busy day for us.
Right. In the last episode, we looked at the manufacturing process of small capacity seamless steel cylinders made from aluminum rod and steel pipe. So what will we see today?
Today we're at another Gas location that produces large capacity seamless cylinders. These include HPST series seamless steel cylinders and HPCO series seamless composite cylinders with water capacity from 20 to 400 liters.
So what are the main differences between the HPST series and the HPCO series?
For the transportation industry, we often hear descriptions of four main types of different gas cylinders, namely Type 1, Type 2, Type 3, and Type 4. These different types of cylinders are often used to store compressed natural gas, aka CNG, or to store hydrogen fuel, and are used in a wide range of vehicles such as rockets, ships, airplanes, and most commonly road vehicles. In gas, we refer to Type 1 CNG cylinders and those industrial gas steel cylinders as HPST series, because these cylinders are all high-pressure steel cylinders and share similar manufacturing process. We call cylinders Type 2, 3, and 4 the HPCO series because they are all considered high-pressure composite cylinders that have composite layers on the outside. The difference between steel cylinders and composite cylinders is composite materials, of course. Composite cylinders are a combination of cylinder liner and composite layers, while steel and aluminum cylinders are made of pure metal materials. One might then ask why bother to buy composite cylinders that are more expensive while we already have so many steel and aluminum cylinder sizes to choose from. In general, composite gas cylinders are lighter in weight and can operate at higher pressure and sometimes offer greater manufacturing flexibility. We are going to make another in-depth video on this topic by comparing some real data. Make sure you subscribe our channel so you will not miss it. Have you done that? Yes? Okay, let's move on. Today, this video main focus is to understand how composite cylinders are made by walking through some of the main manufacturing and test processes that are different from pure metal cylinders.
Great! Shall we begin?
Yes, let's go.
Okay. From what I see, the factory looks very like the factory in last video that produced small capacity steel and aluminum cylinder. Am I right?
Yes and no. Yes, because the overall plant layout is very similar between steel aluminum cylinders and the composite cylinders. If you remove the hoop-wrapped layers from a Type 2 cylinder, you will actually find a Type 1 cylinder only with lower operating pressure. Likewise, if you remove the fully wrapped composite layers from a Type 3 cylinder, you will find a seamless aluminum cylinder in the most of the cases. In this sense, the main difference between metal cylinders and composite cylinder is the forming of the composite layers. For the Type 2 cylinders, they are hoop-wrapped fiberglass layers with resin. Whereas for the Type 3 cylinders, they are fully wrapped carbon fiber layers in epoxy resin. Yeah. And however, with the Type 4 cylinders, almost all the pressure inside is carried by the composite layers. Sorry, very noisy. So for this type of cylinders, there is a special process that forms the HDPE liner of cylinder. Thus, if you are in a factory of a Type 4 cylinder, you won't see most of these facilities here.
Okay, in this case, considering that most of the manufacturing steps for composite cylinders and metal cylinders are the same, I guess we can skip some of the steps that have been introduced in the last video.
You are right. The production process of metal cylinders and composite CNG and composite hydrogen cylinder is basically the same before hydraulic testing procedure, except that the CNG cylinders do not need the step that forms the concave shape of the button of the metal cylinders, like this. Yeah, therefore, seeing the button process of the gas cylinders, we can start direct from the composite material winding process to understand how the composite layers are formed. You see, here are the CNG cylinders. It usually does not come with a concave button like the industrial gas cylinders. Now we are looking at the winding process of composite gas cylinder. This process of continuous interweaving of carbon fiber and glass fiber on the inner tank, also known as cylinder liner, is known as winding. After this process, the winded tanks will go through a process called curing in this oven to finish the final step. What we see now is the winding process of the Type 2 cylinder. This one has a capacity of 220 liters and are commonly used on CNG trucks and buses or in modules that transport and store compressed natural gas, unlike Type 3 and Type 4 cylinders that are fully wire-wrapped. The Type 2 cylinders are hoop-wrapped only. Therefore, the shoulder of the Type 2 cylinder liner still needs to meet the design working pressure of the gas cylinder. But because the cylinder body of the Type 2 cylinder can be made thinner than the steel cylinder and the same working pressure, the weight of the finished Type 2 cylinder will still be lighter than the steel cylinder. The difference between Type 3 and the Type 4 cylinder is the inner liner of the gas cylinder. Type 3 uses aluminum liner similar to a high-pressure seamless aluminum cylinder, while the Type 4 cylinders use HDPE liner plus a metal head. In terms of weight, under the same pressure and the volume conditions, steel cylinders are the heaviest, followed by Type 2 cylinder, which use steel liner, and then aluminum cylinders, and after that Type 3 cylinders with aluminum liner, and then Type 4 cylinder with HDPE. Of course, according to the different product designs and the production process of different companies, the weight difference of different types of gas cylinder is slightly different. After winding and curing, the finished Type 2 cylinder needed to go through a process called self-tightening and then the hydraulic test. We will go check that out. After winding and curving, the finished Type 2 cylinders needed to go through a process called self-tightening and then the hydraulic test. After the hydraulic test, the composite cylinders will go through a series of processes, including internal drying, valve assembling, air tightening test, surface treatment, finished product inspection, and then packaging before they will be ready for shipment. These processes are basically the same as the production process of steel cylinders and the aluminum cylinders, so I won't repeat them in this video.
In addition to onboard CNG composite gas cylinders and hydrogen fuel vehicle composite gas cylinders, which are more and more widely used recently, are there other applications for syngas composite gas cylinders?
Yes. In addition to being used in new energy road transport, these composite gas cylinders are widely used in the energy storing and the transportation industry. For example, customers in Indonesia, Turkey, Bulgaria, South Africa, Nigeria, and many other countries use these gas cylinders to manufacture onboard modules for storing and transporting compressed natural gas. In the field of hydrogen energy applications, Many drone manufacturers or boat manufacturers use high-pressure, lightweight composite gas cylinders in their hydrogen fuel systems in the field of firefighting and life-saving, as well as in the medical fields. Many companies use composite gas cylinders in life support systems for firefighters or patients. In addition, different industries can also use our products according to their actual needs.
Well, another container loaded and ready for shipment. So, how soon will this container arrive at your customer store?
Yep. Depending on where the customer is located, the container will be shipped to customer by sea or rail. Our containers can arrive in Europe in about 25 days via the China Railway Express, or in about 35 to 45 days by using boats. For Asian countries, it only takes about 12 days or even less.
Well, thanks for your detailed introduction.
You're welcome.
Okay, if you have any further questions, please email getaquote@senegas.com or leave a comment below, and we will get back to you personally as soon as possible. See you in other videos.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
Bye.